Italy should not function. Schedules slip, processes bend, rules are negotiable, and yet Italy works. Not efficiently, not predictably, but consistently, which suggests that maybe efficiency isn't the only way systems survive. Part 1. The first impression of chaos. At first, Italy feels disorganized. You step off a train and discover the departure board has changed 3 times. The cafe line you waited in is now a cluster of conversations. Some people laughing, some gesturing wildly, while your name for the espresso order seems to have been forgotten. A clerk changes instructions midway through your paperwork. In many countries, this would cause frustration, confusion, mild panic. You might double-check every detail, worry about mistakes, or feel time slipping away. In Italy, it causes adjustment because no one is panicking. Not the clerk, not the people in line, not even the conductor who just shrugged and waved. There's a rhythm to this chaos. It's a rhythm you can't immediately understand, but it exists. The system isn't failing, it's adapting. A delay is not necessarily a mistake. A conversation spilling into a line is not a breakdown. A form being processed slowly is not negligence. It's flexibility. It's improvisation. It's a living network responding to the needs of the moment rather than rigidly following a protocol. Italy teaches you that systems can be elastic. They can bend, stretch, and still carry the weight of daily life. And you start to notice that this chaos is not accidental. It has rules. Unspoken, invisible, but effective. Italy's chaos is curated, not in the sense of control, but in the sense of expectation. You expect things to go off script. You expect people to improvise. You expect life to happen between the cracks. And if you let go of your need for predictability, something remarkable happens. You start to see the system working, slowly, in its own way. A train will leave, an order will be filled, a problem will be solved, but not through rigidity, through human responsiveness. Part 2. Relationships over procedure. Italy doesn't prioritize systems, it prioritizes people. Walk into a government office. You might see a long line. You might see someone waiting while a clerk shuffles papers. You might hear a conversation that seems tangential, even irrelevant. You might feel your patience tested, and yet if you pay attention, you notice something. Connections matter here more than rules. If there's a problem, you don't appeal to policy, you appeal to connection. Someone who knows how things actually work, someone who can interpret, not enforce, someone who can navigate the invisible maze of human relationships and bend the system without breaking it. This looks inefficient from the outside. To a visitor, it seems like a tangle of favoritism, arbitrariness, and inconsistency, but in practice, it bypasses friction. The human factor compensates for what the official rules cannot. A friend of a friend can make a form appear. A nod, a smile, a short conversation. Suddenly what seemed impossible becomes simple. Italy understands that bureaucracy can only take you so far. Human intelligence, social literacy, and empathy do the rest. Systems exist, but they exist to serve relationships, not the other way around. And once you see that, you start to understand the improvisational genius of Italy. Every delayed train, every rescheduled appointment, every misread instruction, they are not failures. They are opportunities for negotiation, connection, and mutual adaptation. In Italy, people work together to make the system work, even when the system itself seems flawed. That is the heart of Italian efficiency. Not throughput, not rigid deadlines, not predictability, but the ability to adapt, to improvise, to respond to the human element. Part 3. Time has a different job here. Italy doesn't optimize for speed, it optimizes for presence. Meals take time. Conversations stretch across hours. Pauses aren't rushed. A simple lunch can last for 2, 3, 4 hours. Espresso, antipasti, pasta, wine, conversation, laughter, reflection. The clock exists, but it is subordinate to experience. Efficiency is measured not in throughput, but in satisfaction. Not in how quickly things are completed, but in how well they are lived. A delayed train matters less than a meaningful interaction. A long wait at the cafe becomes an opportunity to observe, to speak, to connect. A broken schedule becomes a canvas for improvisation, and that changes how people experience daily life. Stress becomes negotiable. Deadlines become suggestions. Frustration becomes humor. Italy's time is flexible because its purpose is different, to be lived, savored, and shared. You begin to notice this in small ways. How a waiter remembers your name and your preferred drink, not because of a protocol, but because of attention. How Neighbors greet each other in the street, exchanging minutes of conversation without hurry. How even in the busiest city, people find the space to linger, to connect, to notice each other. Time is elastic in Italy. It stretches and contracts depending on human need. And in that elasticity, life becomes fuller, richer, more human. Part 4. Why this system breaks elsewhere. Take Italy's approach. Flexible, adaptive, human-centered, and place it somewhere rigid. It collapses. Because Italy depends on social literacy, you're expected to read the room, to sense intent, to respond accordingly, to improvise within a shared, unspoken understanding of behavior and expectation. It is not automated, it is human. Take this approach to a culture that prioritizes rules above relationships, process over people. Suddenly, delays become failure, improvisation becomes chaos, connection becomes favoritism, flexibility collapses under rigidity. This is why Italy feels alive rather than optimized. The chaos, the improvisation, the bending of rules. It is only sustainable in a society that understands each other deeply, that shares a cultural intuition, that respects the human element. Italy is not inefficient. It is differently efficient. It measures success not in timetables, but in lived experience. It measures impact not in throughput, but in connection, understanding, and human satisfaction. The Italian system works not in spite of its apparent chaos, but because it allows people to bring their full humanity to the table. It is messy, it is unpredictable, and it is alive. Closing Italy doesn't work despite the chaos. It works because it values people more than precision, and once you accept that, Italy stops feeling inefficient. It starts feeling human. Walk through the streets and notice the rhythm, the animated gestures, the pauses for espresso, the laughter spilling onto the cobblestones, the conversations that stretch for hours, the lines that are less about procedure and more about community. Italy is a country that trusts its people to navigate complexity, to improvise, to adapt, to respond with intelligence, empathy, and attention. And in that trust, everything functions, unpredictably but consistently. You leave Italy and the rest of the world feels rigid, predictable, efficient perhaps, but sterile. Italy has reminded you that human systems can survive and thrive without perfect adherence to rules. That the messy, relational, improvisational approach, the approach that values people over procedure, can not only function but flourish. Italy is not perfect, it is human, and that is why it works.